تقول انت مصمم تفرش المساكن دي. اقول لها يا دكتوره يعني انا هعمل شقه زي دي وبعدين ادخل المواطن واسرته يعني معاه حاجات بسيطه خالص يخش بيها البيت ازاي؟
كده يبقى فيها امل ان احنا نقدر نودي اولادنا المدارس ونقدر نصرف عليهم ونقدر نمشي.
دي عمار لعيالي وعيال عيالي،
احافظ عليها وانميها لو هو حتى كان بعمري.
الحياة كريمة هي تعظيم ما لدينا، تكريس الجهود، تكثيفها. مبادرة حياة كريمة هي محاولة مننا ان احنا نعالج مسائل مزمنة في مناطق يعني هي الاكثر زي ما قالوا كده هي الاكثر فقرا على الاطلاق في بلدنا مصر، ونغيرها تماما. نغيرها تماما يعني ايه؟ يعني زي ما قلنا كده ال 277 قرية دول، لا احنا بنتكلم على ان ما يبقاش في بيت نسيبه، ما يبقاش في طريق نسيبه، ما يبقاش في صرف صحي ولا ميه شرب لما ندخلها، الكهرباء.
Right, welcome back, and we have just witnessed the first conference of Decent Life National Project, the first and the most important project that has been held in the history of Egypt. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated this very important conference, giving a praise to such a huge project that aims at elevating the living standard of people, at giving all the services to the citizens, at giving the most important project its importance, and particularly that this is a project that aims at improving the quality of life of citizens, improving the poorest rural communities, giving them the ability for a better life. This project is indeed an all-over project that aims at elevating the standard of living of the whole communities in Egypt, particularly in villages, that is in all sectors, including the educational one, the health-wise infrastructure, housing units, and all the areas of life work. Particularly, this project is part and parcel of the big vision of Egypt's strategy or vision for 2030. To highlight the issue and to highlight the statements given by the President right at the end of this big ceremony that has been witnessed at the Cairo Stadium in Egypt, we have with us here Dr. Ali Masoud, Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Political Science, and we thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We've just seen and witnessed the first conference of Decent Life, this huge national project that is a mega project, one of its kind in the history of Egypt. Let me here take first before we describe the initiative itself and the project itself, you're reading to the President's statements at the end of the ceremony.
Okay, first of all, when we watch the President delivering his speech, we can see that raising issues like national securities and the importance of saving the national securities of Egypt, and that Egyptians should not be worried about any threatening that may be threat Egypt, whatever. So this is one thing, especially raising the issue of water and the Ethiopian dams. And he said that clearly that the Egyptian institutions and the Egyptian leadership is prepared for all scenarios to keep our water and the share of water and to keep the national security non-touchable whatsoever. So this is one issue. The second issue, which was very important, the President talked about many challenges that we faced together as a united people and united citizens with the leaderships, with the army. The first, we start by removing the Muslim Brotherhood from the power in Egypt, which it was a huge challenge actually, that many writers and many analysts was thinking that Egypt is not going to go through after removing this Muslim Brotherhood.
Not survive, yes.
Survive. So this is one. We talked about, and the other challenges in Sinai, in Libya, in the east of Mediterranean Sea, which was a great...
The surrounding areas and the challenges
exactly.
that has been surrounding us, yes.
Exactly. So this is, and we came also to implement one of the most ambitious economic reform, and this was a huge challenge and a big challenge in terms of economics and how to raise the standards of living for Egyptian citizens. So these actually the main stations that and the main head points that we really need to the President actually highlighted in his speech.
Yeah, right. Let me take here the President's statements point by point, because he started with praising this huge, ambitious, as you said, initiative or national project. It's the biggest in the history, in the modern history of Egypt,
yes,
as it is described. In this, he launched the start of the new republic.
Yes.
And he pinpointed his finger on the importance of such a launch and the importance of this new republic. How did you read his statements in this context?
Yes, I'm happy that you read this issue. Why? Because the new republican aims to do what? First, raising the standards of living for people, that people, Egyptian people in the new republic are going to live in economic and social conditions that they were not actually living in modern years or the late years. So how can we connect this with Decent Life Initiative? Well, you go back to the word you said before, which is the vision of 2030, where this actually exists, where the link between Decent Life Initiative and the vision of 2030. Actually, the main issue or the main target for 230 initiative strategy or vision is economically empower people, economically empower Egyptian people, that the Egyptian economy can generate more jobs so that standards of living will go. But here we have a huge number of Egyptians are really poor. So in order to benefit from the economic reform, it's going to take time. So the government and the leadership in Egypt just intervene directly to target the poor people and low-income people, and also the region that lived out years and years and decades, even like Upper Egypt and Sinai and other regions. So by targeting the rural areas, with 4,500 villages by all projects like infrastructure project, education, healthcare, economic empowerment through microfinance, and even building workshops through them that people can have their own project, and empowering the private sector also in NGOs in this initiative means what? Means
Yes.
that we are moving
Yes.